Take two. Session 25, we're talking about my friend Douglas. We're looking at the type of the type of nonfiction text that it is. And we said that it's a narrative based on the fact that it tells a story and does a little bit of dialogue, paints a picture with a setting. That's the type, it's narrative. Now we're asking the question, what's the organizational pattern? And there are 5 of them. KS gave 2 options. And I believe PN says yes. So I believe it's cause effect. And we're going to get into that today. And if you've opened up your Google Classroom, you know that there's a file in there entitled cause effect. So with that in mind, we're going to investigate today why this is cause effect. We know that it's narrative, and we're saying that it's cause effect. We're now going to investigate why we think it's cause and effect. Okay? But before we get there, I'm going to share my screen and go back to the organizational pattern PDF that we looked at, 2 weeks ago now. And we're talking about cause-effect organization, and this is why this is difficult. It's especially difficult given the fact that it's the first one that you've looked at with the mindset that says, I know this is cause-effect. I need to find out why. So when you do it that way, it can be kind of difficult because this is your first exposure to knowing what this is. And this is why I also think it's very difficult, because your if it was always one cause, one effect, I think it'd be a whole lot easier to see. The problem is sometimes one cause leads to multiple effects, or it's multiple causes that lead to a single effect. Or, and in my case, and I think in our case, for this story, we have a cause leading to an effect, and that effect becomes in turn a cause that leads to an effect. And guess what that effect does? Becomes a cause for another effect. So what you have is this chain of cause effects. And that's what makes it kind of difficult, because you don't know, you're trying to establish the fact that this is a cause, but it really looks like an effect, but it also really looks like a cause. So what you have to realize is that can be the case. That can most certainly be the case. And what you'll notice is that it's a chain reaction happening. And for your first exposure to cause effect, that can make it difficult. But if you understand that it's possible, that occurrence is possible, it will help you. So here we go. We are going to look at my friend Douglas, the story. We're still looking at that. And now we are going to go into what is our assignment. So I'm going to stop sharing just for a second. Our assignment is in Google Classroom. And I should start with this. There are 8 points possible. If you're wondering how to bring your grade up, here it is. You get an 8 out of 8 on this, you're going to be doing quite well. It's a whole lot better than getting a 1 out of 8. So additionally, I need you to pay attention because this is kind of tricky. However, I believe we have some real life examples that are really going to help you out. If you'll recall, when we first went over this idea of cause and effect, the day we went over it, we had a snow day at school. The teachers did not have to go into school because the weather was the roads were so bad. And I remember that because there was a cold front coming in from Canada, rain coming from Kentucky and southern Indiana, and those two things met. That's the cause. The effect is we had a blanket of snow, but underneath that snow was a level of ice. So what you have is a cause and an effect. And I remember that. That was great. Today, this is a real life situation. I'm going to share my screen now. And you are going to see a real life situation that occurred. I changed the name to protect the innocent. Let me move this down a little bit. There we go. Check this out. This is the exact file that you have in Google Classroom. It says cause and effect is a relationship between two events or things where one is the result of the other or others. And that goes back to multiple causes, multiple effects. After reading the text, identify the cause and effect in each set of lines indicated. Do not infer or make things up. Don't say that there was a cat who came on a spaceship and landed on Earth. Don't say that. That is not in the story at all. This is a real life actual story that occurred. So we could pull from the information that's provided. Identify the cause and effect that's indicated. Use the text information in the story. It can be complete sentences in your own words, but it can be complete sentences in your own words, but feel free to find a specific quote or a piece of evidence to serve as a cause and effect. So if you'll notice, there are, on the far left side, there are the start of a line, and you have lines 1 through 9. Then we have the start of another line and a certain section that you're supposed to read. If you'll notice, you do that all the way down. Here's the certain section that you read. Here's the first couple words of that line. Here's another section that you read. Here's another section that you read, and you go down. And in this first one, we have cause. Then in the second one, we have the effect. And what you're going to do is you're going to provide, in this case, just the cause because the effect has already been given. Or in this case down here, you're going to provide the effect because the cause has already been given. However, if you'll notice, for most of these, you have to give both the cause and the effect. So if you're playing along right now at home, watching the YouTube channel, go ahead and open your Google Classroom and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, the file entitled Cause Effect. For you guys on my Zoom right now, you don't have to do that because I'm sharing the screen with you. Now, there was an instance in which a student showed up late to my Zoom last period. We're going to call this student Amy. Amy, I don't have an Amy in all my classes and all 157 students. So, Amy, her Wi-Fi was bad. That is the cause. The effect is Amy was late to class. So you see a relationship between the two. Had her Wi-Fi been fine, she would have been on time. That's who this student is. But there was an issue with her Wi-Fi, so the cause is her Wi-Fi had an issue. The result or the effect is that she's late to my Zoom. There you go. There's cause, effect. Now you can ask the question, what caused her Wi-Fi to be bad? You can do that. I don't have a problem with that. What you'll probably end up being is a scientist in life because you're constantly asking, what caused this? What caused this? And that's what scientists do. That's why their work is never done. But in this case, we only need to find one cause and one effect. So the thing for me is, though, please only read the lines that are provided. So in this first case, and if you're on YouTube, do we use the words that it gives us to start the sentence for the cause and effect? No. So excellent question, GF. Here's the question. The question is, what are these words at the start? And I will tell you what those words are. Follow along real quick, GF, and you're going to find that this is going to make a little more sense. So let's do this middle one right here, in which we have to provide both the cause and the effect. Okay? There we go. Okay. We have to provide both the cause and the effect. Well, we are going to look at lines 35 through 39 only. These 5 lines that we're looking at, 35 through 39, are going to start with the lines at the White House. So if I open right now, if I open the story, My Friend Douglas, and I scroll down to lines 35 through 39, we will notice that the first 4 words are at the White House. So to answer your question, you do not use those words. However, that is a guide to help you get to where you need to be. Line 35 starts with at the White House. This says line 35 through 39, and it says at the White House. So all it's doing is getting you in the right spot. Lines 35 through 39, this is what it says. At the White House door, Douglas was stopped by 2 policemen who took me rudely by the arm and ordered me to stand back. Their orders, they told him, were to admit no persons of my color. Douglas didn't believe them. He was positive that no such order could have come from the president. Now, I'm going to keep lines 35 through 39 on the screen, okay? As I keep these lines on the screen, I want you to tell me what the cause and what the effect is. Cause, effect. And as we noticed last class, this is kind of interesting. There were actually two. You could actually write one of two answers in this. And we might find a different one here, making it 1 out of 3. But here's what I want you to do. In the chat, I want you to establish what is a cause and what is an effect within only lines 35 through 39. What is a cause?
Sometimes cause comes before the effect. Sometimes the effect comes before the cause in the reading. So
good point.
You have to really ask yourself why. Why did this happen? If you can pick out the cause, or if you can pick out the effect, rather, the cause is the why. Why did this happen? Cause, we're in a pandemic. Effect, we're doing virtual learning this year.
Yes.
Cause, it snowed last night. Effect, the roads are slippery. So if I said, wow, the drive-in was very slippery this morning after all that snow, my effect comes first. I said the drive-in was very slippery. The cause, because of all that snow. So it can come out of order.
Oh my, I can't spell. Here we go. No, I want the all caps. AC, you're so funny. All right. PN. GF, you also provided something. So let me read through these real quick. Policeman ordered to stop any person of color. Douglas love it. That's a great one, PN. Great job. GF, let me read yours. And then GF, is that the cause? And if that is the cause, what is the effect of that? I think the effect of that one, GF, would be Douglas stood in disbelief. The effect is Douglas stood at the disbelief. That would be your effect. Because if I saw your effect and I said why, that would be the answer. All right, so we got a couple answers here, and I'm actually going to take one of them, and I'm going to put it, so if you're sharing your screen, and you're looking at my screen share, this is an actual answer given last period by a student, and all I did was copy and paste it from the chat.
Mr. Neiman, just
go ahead.
Real quick, and I don't know if they're doing this, if you guys are intentionally doing this or not, and that's cool if you are, but when you respond to only Mr. Neiman, I don't see it either.
Right.
So it makes it a little difficult, but I understand if you want to just send it to one person because you don't feel comfortable sharing it with the class. But just so you guys realize, if you only share it with Mr. Neiman, I can't see it either.
That's right. And yeah, it's a fine line to walk. If they give the answer, then everybody sees the answer. But yeah. But however,
I want you to think I'm ignoring you guys if I don't respond to something you write.
If
I'll tell you right off the bat when I'm ignoring you.
I'll be honest with you. Yeah. The interesting thing is we basically came up with the same thing that last period came up with. And I'm sharing on my screen what last period did. So let's get rid of Amy's Wi-Fi here. Let's go text color white. Text color white. Bam. There we go. So Douglas was rudely stopped by 2 policemen. That's the cause. What was the effect? Douglas was in disbelief and positive that the president did not give such an order. So if you were to come into this situation and you saw Douglas standing in disbelief and positive that the president did not give such an order, you could ask yourself, why is this the case? You're asking, what is the cause of this? And the cause is Douglas was rudely stopped by 2 policemen. And as many of you mentioned, he was told that no person of color was allowed to enter. Well, if that's the cause, what is the effect? Well, as GF points out, the effect is Frederick Douglass is standing there in disbelief, like, what is going on? I don't believe that order was given at all. So great job. You guys have what appears to be a very good grasp of what we're asking here. At least seven of you do. So if you can see my screen, we have just provided an answer for one of these. And now comes the point where I tell you